It's one office, the hub of a media and information empire. And where is the man behind the desk? Definitely not sitting down. Pat McGovern writes standing at this table. His computers are up high too. He's always moving. He'll march in the street, jump out of an airplane, hike in the South Pole, groove with a rock band. In fact, the only time Pat may truly sit is when he has no choice, on an airplane. And even then, he's on the move, traveling to one of International Data Group's offices, partners, customers, or conferences in dozens of countries around the globe.
Well, I travel about 300,000 miles a year. I try to visit 30 to 40 new countries each year. And when I'm there, I try to talk to a lot of the target people who are readers of our publications. I talk to the industry leaders and the government leaders. Of course, I find that people have different interests in each country.
For more than 40 years, Pat has touched the lives of millions of people through IDG's books, magazines, websites, research reports, shows, and conferences, each with the latest news about information technology and how best to use technology in the home and office. And it all started with a clear vision of the future, a 13-year-old boy's uncanny understanding that computers would soon permeate our everyday lives.
I went to the public library and there was a new book that came out called Giant Brains and Machines That Think. And the idea it had was that for the first time we'd be able to amplify the power of the human mind, give much more information from memory, analyze these facts quickly and get insights into data, and really expand the power of human thinking. So excited about this idea, I went and saved my money for about 3 months from my paper route and went down to the hardware store and bought plywood boards, nails, bell wire, and aluminum strips, and made an interactive computer that played an unbeatable game of tic-tac-toe. And this attracted the attention of the MIT Alumni Association, and they gave me a full scholarship to go to MIT to get more serious about the study of computers.
As a student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Pat worked on the very first U.S. computer publication, Computers and Automation. After graduating, he was the associate publisher. But the computer industry was still in its infancy. While most of the country was focused on Beatlemania and LBJ's landslide victory, Pat was thinking about computers. From his home in Newton, Massachusetts, he started his company, International Data Corporation, in 1964. Setting out to research the world of computers. And in 1967, Pat launched a weekly magazine in the U.S. called Computer World.
We were the first publication that really took and did case studies of what the users were actually experiencing, including the problems they were having, problems with memory, problems with applications. Most of the other sources of information were very positive, telling the success stories, but didn't give the real problems. We got many complaints from advertisers saying, you made a criticism of our equipment that's very harmful to our company, you should stop doing that. We'll never advertise with you unless you represent a more positive viewpoint. But what happened, the advertisers found that their customers were reading our paper and trusted it the most, so they reluctantly had to call and say, I'm sorry we have to do this, but we're going to have to advertise because you have the readers.
Computer World was an instant hit, and it became IDG's flagship publication. Today, there are versions of Computer World published by local editors with local content in 43 countries. As IDG added publications and events, Pat remained a trailblazer. In 1980, he set up the first joint venture between the People's Republic of China and an American company. Today, IDG remains privately held and is a multi-billion-dollar company.
The publications that IDG produces are really a vital link between the industry and customers.
IDG publishes more than 300 magazines and newspapers on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. Each month, more than 100 million people read an IDG publication. For example, the magazine PC World is in 70 countries. IDG also has more than 400 websites, serving IT professionals from CIOs to network managers, from business and marketing executives to consumers and game enthusiasts.
I think IDG has a good product in part because they work hard, actually in I think a fairly structured and disciplined way, to stay on top of the market and try to figure out what customers want when.
IDG is also a leading producer of tech events with more than 170 worldwide, including Macworld, Linux World, IDC Directions, Demo, Vortex, and CIO.
These are people who I can talk to and bounce ideas off of some of the things we're trying to do. So the networking is absolutely critical.
And IDC provides clients with global market research and advice.
It's been very exciting the way Pat's been willing to take this out around the world to countries that are in the very early stages of building their computer industry.
So what's next for Pat? As a philanthropist, his focus on the future has turned to the ultimate computer, the human brain. Pat and his wife Lori Hart McGovern gave MIT $350 million in 2000 to fund research and build the McGovern Institute for Brain Research. And from the telescope in his Boston office, Pat can keep an eye on the progress just across the river in Cambridge.
The challenge of all of us in the publishing and information business is to understand how to communicate more effectively with people, and that means understanding more fully the functions of a human brain. So we're delighted to have set up a research institute to be able to get a real understanding of the physical basis of consciousness and the higher brain functions of the brain, so we can improve communications, education, mutual understanding, and also cure mental illness and brain disease.
And it is Pat's vision of the future that will keep IDG ahead of the curve and readers around the world on top of the very latest changes in information technology.